Alright, we're waiting for some feedback. Give me a moment, the stream is starting. It should be unmuted, so I should get immediate oral feedback when we're live. And there we go, I've got feedback and it's horrible. Okay, so we are back with the MSI B906 motherboard. So to recap for anyone who's just joining us, this motherboard, this guy here, came to me with the symptom of no power on. It just died randomly, and the user didn't want to wait for the warranty. So I diagnosed it incorrectly at first with a bad CMOS flash chip, because heating the general area of a flash chip, this is the flash there, caused the machine to reliably turn on every time. Cooling that area of the board caused it to fail. So I took the flash off, I put it in a cheapo programmer, and the programmer gave me an indication that the flash was faulty. It would read out random data. Well, my programmer was not working correctly, and the flash was most probably okay. And in my stupidity in trying to troubleshoot this supposedly bad flash, I overwrote it. I cleared it and read it back and still got nonsense out of it. So I just figured, yeah, flash is dead. Let's order some new flash, put it in, try and program as much of the data we got into it as possible, and try and get the board booting. That didn't work because my programmer was just reading back garbled data. Probably the original flash was fine. So I continued troubleshooting and found that this capacitor right by the choke, originally a small black thing, this kind of a tweezers, it's like a 1206 package, something like that, works when it's very mildly heated. So I replaced that capacitor. I just took an 820 microfarad 2.5 volts cap from a random motherboard, soldered it in, and lo and behold, now the board powers on every time, no matter if it's hot or cold. However, we've still got the dodgy chip, or rather the dodgy contents of this flash chip here. And that's what we're going to be trying to fix today. So I relegated the problem to a friend of mine, Matthias, who has an even greyer beard than I do, and he has, using the free dumps of broken data as well as an MSI BIOS update, hopefully cobbled together a working flash image, which I just programmed into this chip here. So what we're going to do here is just take this chip, put it on that board, and if Matthias has succeeded and I haven't ruined the rest of the board in the process, we should have a working MSI Trident B906 PC on our hands, and a customer who has not had to wait the 2.5 months or so, well, 1.5 months it takes for MSI to get the warranty repair done. So let's just jump straight into getting the new flash on there. And once we're done, I might stick around to assemble the PC, because these things they basically come apart like an Xbox, and I barely remember how to put it together. Worst part is the customer knows my YouTube channel, so anything I show you guys, they're going to see as well, but that's fine, we're all for transparency. So let's just get this guy off here. I'm not going to be keeping up with the chat, because I just want to get this done. I've got a million other things to do today, so we're in a bit of a hurry. I just want to get this PC done and be out of here, basically, because this customer has been waiting longer than I hoped they would have to. Off you come. Off you come. Off you come, come on. There we go. Smoking hot flash chip off. We'll just put that to one side. That's a very valuable chip. Now let's just get the motherboard flash off as well. Remember that if you can do this, always disconnect the CMOS battery, because you could have powered circuitry around here otherwise, which could potentially explode. We're just preheating the board. On this particular model of PC, you do need to be somewhat careful doing this, since there's a bunch of 0402 resistors around this CMOS chip, which could potentially get knocked over if you go too violent with your tweezers. There we go. Old chip off. We're done with the hot air. And there that's perfect timing, because there literally my hot air station died. I'm not joking. I am not making that up. Although my camera died. God. This camera is dying. But yeah, look at that. Oh, it's back alive. That thing actually died a moment ago. It wouldn't power on. Oh well, I guess we lost the camera instead. And well, let's get back to the task at hand. I can't believe this camera is already dying. It should be still under warranty. Bloody hell. Right, so we're gonna please manage to zoom in without failing this time. So we're gonna wick the solder off, and it's already flooded with flux from all my previous work there. And oh god, I don't remember which of the chips on the board is the one I want now. Damn it. Where's my solder wick? Let's screw the solder wick. We'll just use the big old sucker. That's fine. That's fine. So I think this is the chip we want. I managed to just put all the chips in a big pile. I think this is the one with a good BIOS image on it. I'll just get that in place. Still need to get myself a microscope. Even if SO8s aren't particularly difficult to work with, being used to work under a microscope at work has spoiled me somewhat. It's just so much more convenient to have everything at ×10 magnification or so. So we'll just solder this in place. Come on you go. On you go. Okay. Come on, IKEA light, you can do it. I don't have a best tip on this iron for this right now, but it's good enough. That should be on there. Where's my loop? There's my loop. Let's just have a closer look. Yeah, that's on there. That's on there, no SMD components knocked off. So, we should now have a workable, working, running board. I think this is going to be fine. Please manage to zoom, bloody camera. Stop falling apart on me. What's the chat say do we have? No one's saying anything horrible, so we didn't lose audio. It's on top of a camera screw, so with me I lose audio. Anyway, we need to reconnect the CMOS battery and power it on. It should be fine. However, I still have a BIOS update, I think, on this USB stick, which we are going to install because the software is cobbled together from 3 broken files and a BIOS update, so it's not guaranteed to actually be perfect. I'll just put the fan on there in case it actually runs. And CMOS battery goes in there. Come on, click. It's not still on fire. So this is the moment of truth. Power on. And it shouldn't power on. No, it should power on when I do this. And it's going to take a while to give a signal to the monitor. This PC was quite slow doing that, so we'll have a gruesome 10 seconds right here. And it has initialized the fan control, and we've got a green LED. And let's turn the fan off. It's doing something. It's doing more than it has in the past. Come on, baby, you can do it. This is exciting. Very exciting. Green LED. MSI! It's alive! Well, somewhat alive. It's alive enough to give us picture. Ah, what relief. That's more than this thing has done in a long time. So now the only things which are still questions remaining are if the Windows licensing info and board serial numbers, stuff like that, has survived. I think it has, since my friend said he did manage to save that. But look at that, we're in the BIOS! Ah, fuck yeah, that's awesome. So it's reading the correct BIOS version. Do we have working mouse pointer? Where's my mouse? Where is my mouse? Oh, that is most excellent. Mouse works, a USB works. Oh, that's so good to see. I'm happy. I am very pleased. So, can we get like info about like the serial number of a board or something? I really would like to know what are things, but probably not. Anyway, since some of this data could still be corrupt, we're gonna restore defaults and save changes. You haven't made any change. Well, we should have made. I don't care. So now I'm just going to verify that I've actually got the BIOS update correctly on this USB key, and we're going to boot the machine into what's the word? Aren't you going to reboot? Save changes. Yes. Save changes and reboot. There we go. Yes. So, let's see. I'm going to remove all my broken files. Okay, I think I have the complete BIOS update on there. Just gonna. No, I don't need to verify that. I haven't used this memory for anything else, so yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Booting from the stick should throw us into the BIOS update utility. And once we have a clear that it actually manages to focus. For fuck's sake, manual focus, please. There we go. Once we manage to get the known good, proper MSI BIOS update into this board, we know everything's working. Because the one thing which might still screw this up is, in case ID of our new flash chip is incorrect. It should be the same, but it could, depending on which parameters it reads out, also be different. So there's a risk that this BIOS update might not flash, but there's a very big probability it will. What I just did with the BIOS was disable the Windows 8 VHQL configuration, because you need to do that in order to boot off of a non-UEFI drive. Helpfully, MSI only provide bad kind of file name. Dir. And we've got, it should be flash.bat. Yep. So this is gonna, it's reading. So if this goes through correct, then we're gonna be showing a drive in this and making sure it boots into Windows. And once that's done, I'm just gonna reassemble this whole thing and call it a day. And while it's working, I am going to glue the new capacitor in place, because it's kind of not made very well at all. So let's just do that while it's flashing. Maybe autofocus is going to work this time round. AF. There we go. So that's the big cap right there, which is incorrect and replaced. I'm just going to use some of this Fujic silicone fluid off of Deal Extreme, I believe, to glue this in place. It's like thermally conductive stuff. Very useful for just kind of tacking stuff on without wanting to heat it up with a hot air gun, or using like epoxy which just falls apart. I'll just tack that in there. Just to stop it destroying its solder joints. The PC shut down because it was done flashing. It isn't on fire. And I did notice the command in the bat file said shut down, not reboot, so we're going to have to restart this manually, and it should do exactly the same thing as it did before. Power on just fine, even while cold. So let's see if the camera's going to die when I zoom out again. I know, didn't this time. Okay. Moment of truth, let's just tweeze this thing to life. Blip. Fan spin. Do we get fan control? Fan control. We've got fan control, it's reading the USB stick, doesn't need to do that. We've got picture. This thing should boot into the BIOS. Come on, baby. It does have this retardedly slow network stack boot. Checking media presence goes on forever. That's one of the things which made me suspect a bad flash, because this took so long to do. Like, this does not seem normal at all, because the Ethernet cable is disabled. It's not plugged in, so we should just be, oh no cable, let's move on. But yeah, probably just bad programming. And we're live, and we have correct BIOS date, correct everything. So I think we're ready to reassemble this thing. Excellent. I am most satisfied. So let's just have a look at the chat until I can muster up the courage to try and reassemble this thing on stream, because it's not going to be pretty, since these things go together not prettily. So let's just, oh god, you don't need to see my ugly head that up close. No, that's even worse. Jeez. There we go. I'm probably still going to see my head, but whatever. What's the chat got to say? Oh god. We're a million lines behind. Okay, never mind actually. I might read through this later on. I've got a PC to reassemble. That's just going to take way too long, sorry. So let's just find all the pieces. I'll wrap my flash chips up later. Part of me wants to install a chip on the backup CMOS slot, which this board does have, but I'm not sure if that's a great idea. At least we have a working PC. Now this is a consumer grade gaming PC anyway, so it's going to be outdated and worthless in like a year anyway, so who really cares about reliability? Oh god, this bench is cluttered. Oh, there you go, ATX power supply, workbench. And we can just kill the PC, we don't need to have it up and running at all right now. So tweezer that off. Lib. Soft power off. Lovely. Oh wow. Someone in the chat's got a G-Speakers quadrant reference. I didn't expect anyone from that area still existed on the internet. Flaming Polar Bear. I don't recognise your name. I don't. You go to one side. I'm going to have to... So there's a bag of goodies. General PC parts for this thing. I have no idea about the actual hardware in this thing. I haven't really paid attention. It has to be at least somewhat high-end given the price. I think this was like a 1200 or 1700 euro PC. We've got an M2 SSD, 128 gig, wireless card. Graphics card is... I have no idea. What's that going to be like? A 1060? 1050? Something like that? And I think it's a terabyte hard drive. And a screw. So I'm gonna take all this stuff outside for a sec and blow the dust off of it. Just so that we've got that done, because this is a bit dirty. So I'm going to be back in a sec. I'm just going to mute the microphone so you don't have to deal with the hearing damage inducing noises that this action creates. And we'll leave the compressor behind. So to those who are just joining us, we just fixed this motherboard. Just blew the dust out of it, and we're going to be reassembling an MSI Trident B906 PC. This is going to be a real test of my memory, because these things do not come apart very easily. Actually, I had to look up a service manual in order to figure it out, and it's full of dust in the case as well. That's annoying. That's annoying. Yuck. There's a box of random bits and bobs which keep that thing together. This is going to be an interesting reassembly, because it's just so OE specific. This is not at all like a normal PC. A very special form factor. I kind of like it though. It's compact, very compact. So I think the first thing to do is put the board in this base cage, because basically the board, if I recall correctly, was one of the first things to go in. Bonk. That's me trying to destroy my camera even more. You can go up there. So I remember with some dickiness trying to get this top panel off. So I think we'd refrain from installing that till we have the motherboard in. There was something really dick about it, as all remember. So this goes in with PCIe slot towards that side. This is going to be very nut and bolty, but if you're lucky, you're going to get to see me make a mess of it and laugh. Oh yeah, I need to definitely verify that I remembered to plug the CMOS battery in. Yes, I did, because it actually can't access the CMOS battery without taking the motherboard out. And as you're about to experience, taking the motherboard out of one of these is a bit of a bother. It's a bit of a bother indeed. So I think the heatsink flaps go on top there. Man, I don't remember in which order this end panel went in, because there was something really annoying about it. I think it was that you actually had to take the CPU fan off in order to access the screws. The screws, which are plastic threaded for the top panel. Ah, jeez. Plastic threaded. Let's see if we have another plastic threaded. Two plastic threaded. We have a bunch of rather anonymous M3s. Oh god, I'm putting them all off screen. Where are we? There we are. Bunch of anonymous M3s. Two plastic threaded. Well, we have some fancy M3s which go put together things the customer might see. More anonymous M3s. Fancy M3s. Lots of fancy M3s. God. There were some M2s as well. We'll have a random plastic piece. We'll have the SATA cable. We have the graphics card power cable. We'll have a graphics card bracket. HDMI dead plug. I'm not sure what that's even there. Anonymous M3. There's the M2, I think that's for the wireless card. More fancy M3s. Some taped M3s. And another fancy M3. And this piece of plastic, which I think was holding the M2 SSD, maybe? It's the right size for holding the M2 SSD. but we'll figure that out. So let's just get this over with. So I don't remember which order the case went together. That is a bit annoying, because there are so many special little bits and bobs, and God, is that dusty and horrible. Right there. Yuck. All grey. And we'll have to clean that off before we put it together. This is probably, yeah, all the vents are really dusty and horrible. Yuck. So, I think this was one of the first things to come out. Yeah, because this just hooks on like donk on the underside like so. So that's not going to be an issue. The bottom is the first thing which comes off, and I'm pretty sure the rear panel is also one of the first things. So really I do think this top panel is going to be what we want to put on right now. I do think so. We'll try. See what happens. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And then, well, if it doesn't fit, it's just gonna end up kind of in the way of something in the end, which is gonna make me have to take the whole thing apart again. And I do have a service manual for this thing, which kind of tells me how to put it together, but I don't want to use that before I have to, because I kind of want to challenge myself with this. Because I like being able to remember these things. So this is a foam bit. What? Something's preventing this from going on quite. What I think is just a foam. Click. Snapped on. Oh, it's got a bunch of connectors. That goes there. Front panel header goes to JFP1. And this thing goes to, I believe, the further away one of these. They are identical, but I'm going to verify with my camera, just as a precaution. Let's see, dick pics. So many dick pics. I've got like 2 complete videos on this thing I haven't bothered producing yet. So many dick pics. Jesus Christ, how much of this stuff is there? There we go, now we're on the correct PC. And, oh no, I was wrong. We have, the black connector is going to the connector that's closer to the edge, and there's a white connector coming from the other side, probably going to the front of the case. Good thing we double check that. Good thing indeed. Out you come. In you go. Click. So we need... what on earth is going... oh, there's a microphone on the case. That's what's going in the other connector, so it's probably 2 very different things, those. I don't think there's a microphone in that part. So let's just move on and get the Wi-Fi card installed. All the things on the top which we can get. A good habit I have, always alcohol on these things. Every time alcohol on these things. Because the contact resistance is so low that just a little tiny bit of dust can give you a major headache. Now the M2 goes like that. So we'll just poke that on there and it'll be fine forever. Then connect with really small Wi-Fi antennas.
these connectors, I believe, are even smaller than normal laptop Wi-Fi connectors. They're absolutely tiny. There we go. Those are on reasonably well as they're going to be. And now we need to get the plastic threaded screws into the case, and that is where this was a very annoying part, since you actually had to take the CPU fan out to get this part of the case off. I don't remember why I had to take that part of the case off though. I really can't remember. Oh yeah, it was to figure out the pin out of the front panel connector. That's why I took this part of the case out. So please just go in, your plastic threaded piece of trash. Yuck. That's not going well at all. I need a bigger screwdriver. If we can just barely fit in there. There we go, that's in there. There's another one. This hole seems to have had a screw in it. There we go, top part of the case mounted. Let's just hope we're not forced to remove that in order to gain access to anything else. I'm going to just let the CPU fan be the last thing I put in, because that's easier to access and it gets in the way of a bunch of stuff. I think I might as well just bolt the main board in now, and that's with a bunch of anonymous M3s. Where did my screwdriver go? Where on earth did I put my screwdriver? Wow. I completely lost my screwdriver. It's not in frame. Oh, there we go. There's my screwdriver. Okay. Back to business. I don't remember how many bolts I had to go use for this. Oh yeah, I also need to repaste the CPU, since I actually took the heatsink off at one stage. It's just back, yeah, it's not even attached right. While I was troubleshooting, I had the CPU out and cleaned the socket just to, or cleaned the underside of the CPU just in case that was the issue, which it obviously wasn't. Out you come. Or don't. Come on. There we go. That's a heating gate. Yeah, not a lot of thermal contact there. Good thing I remember that. That would have probably caused some frame drops for the poor owner of this thing. I'll just clean this off. Oh, goopy, so goopy. Now, can I get a better angle on this? It's not hard to get my head in the way all the time. That's more fitting to the aspect ratio, I think. Let's just keep cleaning this. Ah, there's goo everywhere. There we go. That's clean. New cheapo thermal compound goes on there. It's fine. Big blob. In you go. Come on. What's this catching on? Oh, there we go. What's the chat saying? Do you have a video on your current workbench setup with a camera arm thing? No, I don't think so. Electron Ash is allergic to Apple. Do we have anything more interesting in the chat? What was the issue in the end? Andrew Joy asks. This capacitor right here, once you can see it, that guy, had some issue. It was sensitive to temperature and caused the board not to power on. So all that talk I had about the flash was entirely misdiagnosed. It was incorrect and wrong. That doesn't mean that flash issues aren't common on these things, it's just that I was wrong in this instance. I jumped to the conclusion that it was the flash, while it wasn't the flash. And it's good, I've learned something. Hopefully you guys have learned something too. Don't just trust random people on the internet. Who jump to conclusions. I wonder how many of the premature deaths in these boards are actually caused by that capacitor failing, because these PCs seem to have reliability issues. Like a lot of hits on Google are just about people being angry that these things have failed and take forever to get back from warranty. They'd probably ship them off to some Chinese sweatshop where they replace that cap. I just see 100 Chinese people in a line just replacing that cap all day, every day. Graphics card. Where's my alcohol? Where's my alcohol? We need alcohol. If you don't give your graphics card alcohol, how could you possibly expect video? There we go. In you go. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. You have to put this thing in first, else it's not going to fit because the case is so tight. There we go. Click and click. And now we just need the graphics card mounting bracket, which goes on top here somehow. Oh, there we go. That's... I'm not sure if that's got a fancy screw or an anonymous screw. Probably an anonymous screw because they're slightly longer. So we'll put an anonymous screw in there. That's the graphics card mounted. We're getting to a point where we can flip this thing over and start working on the other side. Oh god, should I have put the... oh no. We have this odd SATA cable arrangement here, where I was afraid this connector would be inaccessible, so I'd have to take the whole motherboard out again, but thankfully that's not the case. We can just... how's this go? Is it like so? Or, yeah, it's like so. Tape, you can go away, we can retape this. Is it easier this way? No. There we go. So to connector, let's just... this original tape is destroyed, so we'll put some new stuff on there. I don't know, Kapton tape, that's fine. If you pay €1,700 for a PC like this, you probably shouldn't be banging it around hard enough to warrant tape on these connectors. I really would hope you don't do that. Scissors. We'll just slap that on there, like so. This case is, by the way, razor sharp, so I'm constantly fighting not to cut myself to death. There we go. Oh, and I lied about the CMOS battery, you can actually access it from the side. That's good. That's excellent. That's the M2 SSD mount, so... I'm still not sure how the M2 SSD bracket goes on there. I think it's supposed to go on the end like so, maybe? Well, it has to be that way. Click. That feels right. And we'll of course put some alcohol on that as well. Just because it's one of these kind of ZIF sockets which have a tendency not to work right if you don't give them the proper alcoholic treatment. This M2 bracket is going to do nothing here. So where on earth will that be supposed to go? Perhaps it's supposed to go on the other side to protect it from the top of the case. We'll just put this on the top of the M2 SSD. Because on this side it would kind of protect it from impact. Alright, it's not going to be a critical component. Boys, I'm actually going to have to check my picture. Maybe that's for the wireless card. Now to think about it, and that I noticed that the wireless connectors weren't on there very good, so we'll have to navigate through all the dick pics again. Let's see, where are we? There's a picture of his board. Already partially assembled now. Huh. Where on earth is that supposed to go? Where on earth is that supposed to go? It doesn't seem to make sense to go on the M2 SSD. Let's see what happens if we try and shove it on the wireless card. No, but that kind of doesn't make sense either because of the way it's shaped. Oh, whatever. I'll leave it there. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So now we'll just put the 2.5-inch hard drive, again alcohol always alcohol. Always alcohol. Click. You go in there. And you get screwed in place. Exciting times. This was FF Tech Tips. Does Linus put together PCs? I don't know. So that should be pretty much everything on that side. Hard drive, M2 SSD, CMOS battery. CMOS battery is still in place. I think that's good. So what's left? Oh yeah, we have this plastic thing which goes... Oh dick. It goes around that screw, which we prematurely installed. So we'll install you there. Oh, it goes on top of the CPU fan. So we want to install the CPU fan, then we want to put the bracket in place, then we can move on. Yep, definitely goes on top of the CPU fan. And we're now like out of the anonymous screws, so we're going to have to use fancy screws for everything remaining. That's good. That's good. Oh no, we're not out of the anonymous screws. We've got 2 left. 2 over there. So bracket goes on there. And that goes on. And in fact, before I actually put the case back on, we should just power this on and make sure it actually boots into Windows. Just to absolutely know for certain that there isn't any funny business going on. So we really should have everything on here. We have the drives, we have the graphics card, we have a RAM, everything's in there. So let's just power this thing on and see what it does. I don't want to show you a monitor in case there's anything personal showing up when it boots. Sorry. I think that's the HDMI out, that's the power in, which we should turn off. Power in and keyboard and mouse. Where's my keyboard and mouse? I put it in the wrong place, there it is. Keyboard, mouse installed. So, power on. Is it going to boot? We've got power, we've got a spinning graphics card, so that's not fried. Oh, we're on the wrong HDMI. Oh, that's why they've got the HDMI blocker, because you're supposed to use the graphics card. Let's just see what it does. Oh yeah, we need to probably enable the Windows VHQL thing. Yeah, turned off there. It's not going to boot. It's not going to boot without that. So we'll go to, fine, I guess it can view the CMOS setup, else this is going to be very boring. There you go.
So, settings, advanced, Windows OS. Oh, it's already enabled. Secure boot. I'm not sure what setting this was on from the factory actually, or when I got it. What is our boot order? I want to see. our boot order. Boot option 1, hard disk. Let's just put 1 to that. UEFI hard disks. And I think it was the right one. Doesn't seem to be spotting the secondary drive, which is a bit odd. But now this should be decent. Let's just save an exit, see if it's going to be this time around. Let's see what it does. Come on. Just boot into Windows. Don't have further issues. It's doing some kind of loady thing, so I'm going to pan you guys away. You get to watch the color change in case LEDs are. And we are inside Windows, there's nothing personal popping up. So you can see, there we go. We've got a booting working machine. Excellent. I still don't want to show you any usernames or anything, so let's just turn this off. Oh yeah, that's get up and away because there's an email on the screen. You guys don't need the email, so we'll shut this thing down, call it a day, continue with our reassembly. Oh, good. Most excellent, I'm happy. It is a pure miracle that this machine has survived at all, given that I misdiagnosed it as hard as I did. If not for my friend Matthias, this thing, God, I'm not sure what I would have done. Like the fact he managed to put together a working BIOS binary from 3 broken and BIOS binaries and 1 BIOS update. It's just amazing to me. It could be one of those things that's no big deal, but to someone who's not too computer savvy, it's a miracle. A true miracle. Okay, so now I think we're done to the stage where we can actually start installing the case, which is an interesting experience. I'm gonna put the heap of screws out of view so you guys can't see how many are left over once I'm done. Haha. So this kind of just slides on over the bottom. And that's obviously wrong. Is this? No, that's alright. That's correct. Alright, yeah. It goes on there. It's kind of had a bunch of holes, and we need to get the microphone cable securely inside. Oh, that's good. And now it just kind of slides together with brute force. There we go. 2 screws in the corners to keep it all together. And we have to remember to wire up the microphone, else we're going to have one less voice chatter in some FPS online. We can't have that. We can't have that. And in you go.
microphone there. Rightio, let's see what else is left to do. Are we done in here? So I think the next thing which came off was the backside, I think. It just kind of clicks in. Or is it the... Yeah, we should probably mount the graphics card hatch there. I think that uses the two tapered screws, but I'm not 100% sure. No, actually this has not used tapered screws, so those are for something else. We'll put a couple of fancy screws on there. Fancy flat ones, non-tapered. 1 and 2. There we go. Now I think we can get this guy on there. This was a bit of a tight fit to get off. And I'm not a fan of these cases which just kind of snap together. But I think that's getting on there pretty good. Good enough. So this has a screw on this side. Oh, dick. Oh, cock. And I remembered why I had to take this panel off. The backside has one screw on that side. So we're going to have to take the side panel off. Again, it's not a huge project, but it needs to be done. We need to take the CPU fan out, the middle bracket thing, air guide out, because else this back panel is not going to be on properly. Oh no, am I wrong? Am I wrong? I'm not wrong, damn it. I thought it was just a snap there for a sec. But let's do this properly. I put too much effort into this machine to half-ass it. A bit annoying though. A bit annoying. So there's the CPU fan out. Now we need to use a tiny screwdriver to manage to get these out without destroying the whole thing. But these are plastic threads, so they get easier to get out every time you do. Out you come. And this was a dick to get off. A proper dick. Snaps all the way. But there we go. I think we've got good enough access there. So we'll just put a screw in the correct spot, mount the plastic rear panel so that it's not flimsy, and there shouldn't be anything else behind there. Seems not to be, so we'll just snap that back in place and move on. Crack. Snap, crackle, pop. Ugh. Plastic threaded screw 1 and plastic threaded screw 2. I see someone in chat talking about doing live streams. You probably should do live streams. it's good. Like, just the fact that I'm vocalizing my procedure is making me a better technician. Because I need to more consciously think about what I'm doing. And since I'm also focused on trying to be mildly entertaining, I'm not sure how well I'm actually doing. It's good for my brain. And I would imagine it's good for most people's brains. It puts some pressure on. You know, if I was doing this on my own, there's a decent chance I would have just gone, don't need this screw. But having a bunch of people watching is, it forces me, having an audience forces me to keep a higher quality of work. At least if it's customers' things. Because there's a risk, the owner of this PC might watch this stream. And then they're going to go, oh god, how come this guy didn't charge me more for this? Hear that, customer? I'm giving you a good deal. So we have another screw on this side for the end cap. So that's screwy there. And 2 screws for that. I still haven't figured out where the recessed screws are supposed to go. I probably shouldn't have said that. But oh well. So these 2 screws hold the bottom cover on. What are we missing? I'm not sure we're missing much. So does this thing have any... Oh yeah, we are missing 1 screw for... there's a hole in the motherboard there. Oh, there's a light in your face. There's a hole in the motherboard right between the north bridge and the front panel header, where the back side of the case actually mounts with a screw. There we go. That's good. Now I do wonder, where the hell are those recessed screws supposed to go? Where the hell are those recessed screws supposed to go? Oh, I've figured it out. I have figured it out. We have 2 recessed holes on the top part of the case here, and that means there are 2 last screws missing. No other screws are left. Nothing there. Final screws. I've managed to reassemble this thing successfully. Oh, that makes me happy. That makes me happy. The fact that I managed to do that reasonably well, from memory, without referring to a service manual, makes me happy. So this just kind of snaps in place. This whole thing is very slidey, snappy. A bit cryptic and annoying, but it's probably decent for production. So, also, if you're working on one of these, the warranty void sticker is there, so you can't actually get into one of these without voiding the warranty. And which is, I'm happy I got this thing running, because you know, I voided the warranty. I can, of course, I conferred with the customer first. Hey, this is going to void your warranty. This thing is still under warranty. Are you sure you want a hack like me working on this thing, which is still under warranty, because you're going to lose your warranty? And they were like, yeah, sure, do it. It's worth it to us. So they took the risk. I took the risk, and it's paid off. So we'll just put the HDMI block in there since we have a graphics card. And I'm gonna clean this off. That's plastic, not rubberized, so we can use ammonia-based cleaner on that. There's a bit of dirt and grime on it. I like to generally wipe down things unless it's obvious that it's a customer who really doesn't care. There's a bit of dirt coming off of this thing. It's pretty fresh. But a little bit of wear and tear. People do generally appreciate getting products just wiped down, because often people have this thing about repair shops like that, taking their nice clean thing which they've kept to their own standard and putting it into some dirty dude's workshop, and that puts a bad taste in people's mouths. So getting something back fresher than when you gave it is going to earn you a much better reputation. Now if you live in a giant city like New York or something, that's not going to matter too much, but out in bumfuck nowhere, like where I live, it does matter. Reputation is everything here. So it really is worthwhile for me to take the extra time to just do a bit of a better job. All the screws are in. This is the last step. I think this just snaps in, yeah. There we go. So now I'm just going to fetch the base for this thing, and I think it's going to be good to go. I think it's going to be good to go. Going to bother cleaning this thing too much. It's just covered by the PC anyway. So this goes like so. This goes like so. Gee, that does not feel. That does not feel like the way I would be willing to store my €1,700 PC. That feels wobbly as all hell. So let's give it a final test. And then I'm going to contact the customer, off stream of course, and return this thing to its proper owner. HDMI to the proper graphics card. Power in, and this thing should now power on. So since we know Windows 10 doesn't give us any username right off the bat, we can probably film this thing turning, dim the lights. Wow. So RGB. So that seems to be pairing on just fine, and I'm going to do this just in case there's something funny coming up. But it isn't. There we go. Finally, after 3 failed streams, or well rather 2 failed streams and 1 good stream, we have a working MSI B906 gaming PC. Issue: 1 capacitor. 1 lousy little capacitor killed this very expensive PC while in warranty. So I'm gonna sign off. Well, rather, I'm gonna just read the chat for a while, since I've been promptly ignoring you guys for the entirety of this stream due to time constraints. So let's just have a quick gander at what you guys have on your minds. I'll have a look. Oh god, everything is falling apart. There we go. That's a good angle. That's an excellent angle. So what's going on?
Ah, God. Water. Chris Balkran asks, I'm very out of the loop. How did you acquire this, given that such things are expensive to import to your island? Someone bought it and it broke and I'm repairing it for them. So this is a job I'm going to get paid for. Let's just scroll up to like 9:07 PM, that's good. What's the chat got to say? Time and date seems wrong. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm gonna configure the BIOS off camera. Hooray, he fixed it. Good job, thank you. If anyone is just arriving, we're basically done. I'm just checking to see if anyone said anything interesting in the chat. Well, someone said, just tuned in, got it working already. Yes, obviously. Oh, I'm getting a phone call, so I've got to go. Hi, I'm on stream. I'm going to stop streaming now and answer your phone call.